Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Jai Vidyacharya Ashto Tarasadashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Jai Vidyacharya Ashto Tarasadashi Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantagoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Iskam BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Iskam Guru Vrinda Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Girdi Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dhamma Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dhamma Ki Jai Their Transcendental Lordship Shri Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Nishinga Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Astasaki Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 18. Chapter is entitled The Battle Between Lord Boar and Hiraṇyākṣa. And today we're doing text 3. āhainam ajña mahīm vimuñca no rasā-okasām viśva-sṛjeyam arpitā na svasti yāsyasy anayā mamekṣataḥ surādhamāsādita sūkara-ākṛte āhainam ajña mahīm vimuñca no rasā-okasām viśva-sṛjeyam arpitā svasti anayā mamekṣataḥ surādhamāsādita-sūkarākṛte āhainam ajña mahīm vimuñca no rasā-okasām viśva-sṛjeyam arpitā svasti anayā mamekṣataḥ surādhamāsādita-sūkarākṛte. Please chant. Vaishnavis. Okay, so Hiraṇyākṣa, and Hiraṇyākṣa said, enam to the Lord, he come and fight. Ajña, O fool, mahīm, the earth. Vimuñca, give up. Na, to us. Rasā-okasām, of the inhabitants of the lower regions. Viśva-sṛjeyam, by the creator of the universe. Iyam, this earth. Arpitā, entrusted. Na, not. Svasti, well-being. Yāsyasy, you will go. Anayā, with this. Mamekṣataḥ, while I am seen. Sura-adhama, O lowest of the demigods. Āsādita, having taken. Sūkara-ākṛte, the form of a boar. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Please repeat. The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Hare Krishna. Purport. Sridhar Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of a boar, actually he worshipped him in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagotra, which means one who is a resident of the forest. But another meaning of Vanagotra is one who lies on the water. Vishnu lies on the water, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead can properly be addressed in this way. The demon also addressed him as Mriga, indicating unintentionally that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly persons, and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as ajña. Sridhar Swami says that ja means knowledge, and there is no knowledge which is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, the demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as sura-adhama. Sura means the demigods, and adhama means Lord of all there is. He is the Lord of all the demigods. Therefore, he is the best of all demigods, or God. When the demon used the phrase, in my presence, the implied meaning was, in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. Svasti yāsyasy. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there will be no good fortune for us. Translation again. The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. The earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umlitam Gena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I want to thank Rasamai Nityananda for throwing a lasso rope around my neck and dragging me in. You did a good job, Prabhu. Thank you. I haven't been given classes in a while, so I hope I can do something that's reasonably beneficial to the devotees. I need your mercy, though. So, it's an unusual verse. Maybe I should just ask for questions and comments now, because it's a tough purport, that's for sure. Anyway, I had the mercy to recently hear from Karma Prabhu. He's like a genius. He and Sariputta Prabhu put together the forbidden archaeology. Now the non-theist, I guess we could call them atheist, archaeologists, they discovered, they had the theory, and it probably was based upon, the evolutionary theory and all this kind of crazy stuff, that human life began 100,000 years ago. Now, Vedic evidence doesn't support that. So they wrote a book called Forbidden Archaeology, which demonstrates that, yes, human life began way before 100,000 years ago, and it's continuing. So it's a very rare opportunity that we have to get this human form of life. So we got to use it well. Avyarta kalatvam, don't waste a second of your valuable human life. Because with this human form of life, we can go back to Godhead, which is really something that Srila Prabhupada stressed all of us should aspire for. Should be part of our constant meditation. Can I become, please, Krishna, allow me to become purified enough so that I can go back to Godhead at the end of this life. Purport after purport, Prabhupada makes this point. So it's significant. And only the human form of life can do it, and that's something that began 100,000 years ago. I had many births over 100,000 years ago, I think. But, all right, so let's get serious here. Karma, as a scholarly Vaishnava, did research on the 5 functions of a commentary. Now, as you know from this commentary by Sridhar Swami, he's talking about Vanagochara and Mriga. That's in the previous verse. And actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary on the previous verse, spoke a lot about Vanagochara. So it all kind of comes together. So the functions of a commentary. Now, I don't want any of you to fall asleep on me, because this is, it's kind of like, it's quite scholarly, but it's quite deep. It has significant relevance in our devotional lives. So the first thing, as you notice, this was not probably the easiest. I stumbled and almost fell trying to lead the Devanagari pronunciations. But we notice on the last line, it's kind of really crammed together. A lot of words coming into one word. So the first function of a commentary is how to divide the Devanagari script into words. So how do you break it into different words? According to the way that you do that, you're going to have different meanings. Okay, so this is kind of what we're talking about here. Like Hiraṇyākṣa, his intention was to insult to assault Varaha like anything. That was his motivation. But he blew it. He didn't do that. He ended up glorifying him. And that's what we'll be speaking about here. This isn't a one-time event. This is a common occurrence, throughout the Vedic literature. And that's why the empowered acharya can actually give a proper understanding. You got these atheistic scholars that study the Vedic literature, and they don't give a good understanding. They're blocked, by, their covering of Mahamaya. They're under the Bahiranga Shakti rather than the Antaranga Shakti, which comes about and then empowers someone to actually understand Krishna, to actually understand this transcendental form. Janma karma chanme divyam evam yo veti tatvataha chaktvadeham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. So one who understands the transcendental nature of my activities and life, then they become eligible, to go back to the spiritual world. It's really important. But the one who is covered by desire for sense gratification, ishvaraham aham bogi saraham balavan sukhi. I'm ishvaraham, I'm the supreme controller, not Krishna. There's a competitive mood. So then they just kind of tear him down, just like he was trying to tear down Rahadev. What to speak? No, here's the Supreme Personality of Godhead coming in the form of a hog or a boar, so maybe there are even more tendency to be critical, right? It's like, what are you talking about? You're a God? So that's the first function. According to the way you do that, you're going to get different meanings, how you divide the words up. Function 2, once you have the words, as we have in Srila Prabhupada's transliteration, where the Devanagari is broken into words, then you have to define the meaning of the word, which is the second function of the commentary. You gotcha? So first you break it into words, and then you define the words. Everybody awake and alive? You sure? Okay, we're checking on you. Okay, so then the third function is to give the meaning to the words in relation to the other words. In other words, in sentences, give the full concept. Prabhupada does this in his translation. And the fourth and fifth functions are to give grammatical information and give answers to questions that clarify meanings. So Prabhupada does that in his purports. So in this purport, he gives a summary of Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami, by the way, is the first commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so Prabhupada gives answers. It gives grammatical information and answers to questions. Anybody got any questions? That's why, any questions yet? Okay, so we're going to get answers to all these questions, which they don't exist because you're all sleeping. Come on, wake up, brothers. Okay. Sridhar Swami gives alternate meanings to the words used by Hiraṇyākṣa, showing how he's unintentionally glorifying the Lord, not putting him down as he was intending. Interesting. So, this actually comes up in Nectar of Devotion quite frequently. Prabhupada in chapter 30 cites the pastime of Rukmini and Krishna in Dwarka. And it's pretty remarkable, it's chapter 60, and this is entitled Lord Krishna Teases Queen Rukmini. Now, we have a Russian member here. Recently, this was covered in the Russian classes. Maybe not recently, a couple months ago or something, right? You were sleeping. Okay. That's okay. Krishna loves you. Janmashtami, will you stop this American humor? Okay. Okay, so this, it comes from this is Krishna speaking. He opens up, and he's, like Rukmini just collapses, loses consciousness. He's crying. She's so devastated because she thinks Krishna doesn't really want her as a wife, and no longer his favorite. Okay, so since your brother and father offered you to them, Why did you reject the king of Chedi and all those other suitors who stood before you, maddened by Cupid? Why instead did you choose us? He uses the plural form rather than me, who are not at all your equal. In other words, he feels inferior to Rukmini because she's such a dazzling, beautiful, transcendental personality. And then he goes on to say, O Vaidarbhi, not being farsighted, you didn't realize this, and therefore you chose us, me, as your husband, even though we have no good qualities and are glorified only by deluded beggars. Okay, that's Krishna. Okay, in the meantime, Rukmini just like, he goes on and on like this. Is it too loud or not loud enough? An echo. Yeah, that's coming from my brain, I think. We can't turn that off. All right, so like Rukmini just breaks down, she's so devastated. She just feels like, he's saying all this because he doesn't want her, and he wants her to just reject him. Because it's like a whole game that's being played by Krishna. Okay, so then so I just read the 16th verse of the 60th chapter. You can check it all out and see if I'm saying anything that's correct or not. And then on the 39th verse, knowing this is Rukmini responding, it's her response to text 16 in this chapter. Knowing that great sages who have renounced the sannyasis danda proclaim your glories, that you are the supreme soul of all the worlds, and that you are so gracious that you give away even your own self. I choose you as my husband, rejecting Lord Brahma. I chose you as my husband, rejecting Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the rulers of heaven, whose aspirations are frustrated by the force of time, which is born from your eyebrows. What interest then could I have in any other suitors? So the beggars, they're actually on a very exalted platform. Just like in ISKCON, after how many years? Any sannyasis here? We got a few that are about to hit. Yeah? Sannyasis? No? Soon. These are sannyas in making. But after a few years, they can renounce their danda. They don't have to carry it around. You see the senior sannyasis, they're not lugging around the stick anymore. They've already beaten enough people on the head with it, so they've done their service. All right, so they're actually very exalted. So kind of point for point, she's defeating, his humble position. And then, things reactivate and, Krishna apologizes and they're back in sync again. But it just, to kind of, it was teasing, kind of a matrimonial fantasy. Okay, so they had all reached the Paramahamsa stage, these beggars. So Rukmini said, I choose you your husband because you have amazing qualities. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, he interprets Rukmini's mood as, my dear husband, your accusation that I lack foresight indicates that you did not know of my deep insight into the situation. Actually, I chose you because I knew of your true glories. That's actually a real important aspect of devotional service. If we understand, who we're dealing with Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's very sobering if we actually think about that. I was joking in the I wasn't given class, but I was joking, and how do we know? I asked this question, who was giving the class? How do we know, how do we understand, how do we realize Krishna when he dances on our tongue every morning? But it's actually, it's used by the acharyas, right? Shashikant knows all about it. He sent me a reference. But, when we understand that this is Krishna, Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Punashura Nitya Mukto Binatam Namanamino. But Krishna and his name are not different, and he comes to us. And we take it much more seriously if we know that we're actually dealing with Krishna in a personal, loving way. And and so therefore, rather than just, oh yeah, I got to do my duty, rappity rap, and I got to get done as soon as I can because I got a service, and not really going from the heart in a loving mood. Krishna loves us, the holy name is the personification of Krishna's love. And when we access that by having a loving mood ourselves, it's unbelievable what kind of transformation we will undergo consciousness-wise and in terms of service, and also appreciation of other devotees. These are Krishna's devotees. I've got to deal with them in a loving, respectful way. I can't be envious. See, the envious person, Prabhupada says that he created ISKCON as a facility for the non-envious. But it's just like, the envious persons, they just can't understand Krishna and his pastimes. They want to criticize it. Like who was it, Dr. Radha Krishna? The Prabhupada, when he first came to America, he wasn't reading his commentaries, but he was reading his translation. He said that was pretty good, the translations. But, he was just preaching impersonalism. How can you do that? With Bhagavad Gita, then it's crazy. Here's Krishna in a very personal way interacting with Arjuna. That's the delusion that one falls into as a result of envy. Icha-dvesha samutvaina dvandvo mahīna bharata. What is it? Sarve bhutani sargayanta parantapa. Oh, Krishna, oh, brainitis. So, we're overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. Envy, hate, same thing. They're in the same basic category. So this is something we got to work on. If we're envious of somebody else, this devotee, I should be in his position. I'm actually much more advanced than he is. It's envy. You don't think like that. The humble Vaishnava, Chanadapi Sunichena, Chororiva Sahishuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtaniya, Sadahari. So he understands, he's not looking for being honored. He's looking, he's seeing, dealing very respectfully with others. He's tolerating. Even though there might be frustrating circumstances, he doesn't blow up on the person that may be an instrument in that frustrating circumstance. Like Rasamaya Nityananda didn't blow up one time, even though he asked me, how many times? 28.5 times to give class, and I didn't do it. He didn't blow up on me. He had every right to blow. He should have slapped me a few times. Okay, so would we describe Hiraṇyākṣa as a fool? What do you think? Would that be a good description? Would it be in line with our parampara? No? Okay, any references in that regard? What's that? Well, because he's a fool. Avajananti ma mudha manusham tanamashvita. Parambhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in this human form. What to speak in the form of a boar. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. So that's just it goes with the package. You know, someone who's foolish, and what does it mean to be foolish? It means to be just dedicating one's life for material pleasure. That's so stupid. Āhainam bhutani kachanti yamalayam sheshas stavaram ichanti kamascha yamata param. Anybody know that shloka? This is Yamaraj's question to Yudhisthira. Did I get it right? What is the most wonderful thing in this world? And it's incredible, but it's, you know, and it's wonderful because it's just such a reality, particularly amongst materialists. Every day, hundreds and thousands of living entities are going to the kingdom of death, yet those who are remaining are making an arrangement for a permanent situation, thinking they will not die. I attended one of the reasons I left Mayapur for a long time was I went for a visa. I was supposed to return about 2 months later, but I ended up returning 2 months and 2.5 weeks later because my sister left her body. And, 85 years old, it was good time for her to go. But they, you can't imagine the level of pain. Her husband was crying through the whole ceremony, which my brother was a Presbyterian minister and former president of 2 Presbyterian colleges. He was conducting it, but her husband was just crying all the way through, not understanding that she's not her body, she's eternal soul. When a Vaishnava leaves, it can be a very blissful experience. Because, within ISKCON, a sincere devotee, going back to the spiritual world. It's incredible. That was my experience with the departure of Siki Mahiti and Prabhu and my old friend Nirguna. He went back to the spiritual world. There was no question about it when he left. Okay, so now let's keep going. So Jama Karma Chame Divyam, we got that. So why does Krishna come? Why does he do this? Why did he come as Hiraṇyākṣa? What was his purpose? And okay, we can hand the microphone around if anyone's got an answer. Huh? Oh, charging the battery. Oh, changing the battery. Okay, so like you got a question. When we come to the point of questions and comments, we need answers to that one, okay? Because I ran out the door, I was running late, I didn't want Rasamaya and Nityananda to get mad at me, so I left my hearing aids. Okay, so when the questions and comments come, you had to do it really loud. All right. So these different meanings that come in Shastra, like Lord Chaitanya himself, he discovered in the Atmaram verse 1.710, how many meanings? Anybody know? You get a piece of burfi if you get the answer right to this one. 64. Okay? So it's not written like in a stone. There's a lot of flexibility based upon the realization of the Acharya and also the understanding that Krishna wants to impart to his sincere devotees. Different understandings, but the one thing is that we should line up, as devotees within ISKCON, we should line up very sincerely with the understandings that Srila Prabhupada has imparted to us. It's like remarkable. What he's able to do, in terms of conveying, communicating to us the essence of Vedic knowledge in book after book after book, in spite of serious health challenges, in spite of his age, in spite of all these challenges in establishing 108 temples, in spite of all the challenges of international travel. Yeah, I just came back from New York, and boy, it took me days to recover. Now, Prabhupada would be right on the viśva-sṛjeyam the next day, giving a Bhagavatam class. And I turned into a vegetable. Anyway, when I went to New York, though, I got right out on book distribution the next day, and that was because it's my life, All right, so now it's time for questions and comments and time to wake up, sleeping souls, if anybody's sleeping, that is. Okay, questions, comments? Okay, now I asked a question before. What was it? Why would he want to fight with Varaha Devi? Was that my question? Are you sure? Oh, that's the question. Okay, well, thank you for giving me the wrong question. Okay, so he did it. Why did Varaha appear? Give a good shloka on this, okay? Then you'll get the burfi you've been hankering for. Here's a smart sadhu. Okay, sadhu, we need your mercy.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, on the one hand, what is
you
coming...
You gotta practically kiss the microphone, otherwise I won't hear a word. Okay. You gotta talk really loud.
So, since he has no way of satisfying his fighting spirit on
I can't quite hear it.
Since he has no way of satisfying his fighting spirit on his own planet, because everything is bliss, he needs to come down, descend, and create circumstances for him to be able to satisfy this quality as well.
So he wanted to fight, Krishna came
on the one
as Varaha.
hand,
that's one of the reasons.
And perhaps also to show that whatever one tries to convey against the Lord is ultimately only possible to come through as a compliment or a glorification, for He is the Lord.
Well, I've heard some God-dammers out there, I mean, there's atheistic consciousness is pretty all-pervasive in this culture of Kali. Anything else? Paritanaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So deliver the pious, to deliver Varaha. I mean, to deliver, to deliver the earth, and to eradicate the rascals. And stay tuned later in the chapter. Hiraṇyākṣa will get knocked out of the box. Be very exciting pastime. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class, Janmashtami, Prabhu. I really think it's far out in Srila Prabhupada's purport how he says that Sridhar Maharaj says that even though the demon tried to blaspheme Krishna, I was actually praising him in that way. And I really was reading the purport and getting into it and how important it is for me to come regularly to Bhagavatam class. I don't go home every day, so now I can find new joy in coming to Bhagavatam class every day and also reading Srila Prabhupada's purports. It's very important for me to do that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it gives tremendous support. You love āhainam, you love the holy name. In order to go deeper in that loving relationship, Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the sambandha gyan to actually do it. Like in the Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that the primary responsibility of the guru is to equip his disciple with sambandha gyan so he can come to the platform of offenseless chanting. So understanding, what is that sambandha gyan? Understanding the jiva's relationship with the material energy, understanding the jiva's relationship with Krishna, this triad, understanding Krishna's relationship with the material energy. And then we just understand Krishna is behind everything. And we should really do everything we can to come to Him, to become qualified, to go deeper and deeper in a loving relationship with Him. Tigache? You're learning Bengali. Congratulations. Sigi Mahiti Prabhu.
He put the mic in my hand, so that means I have to
nice
say something.
Okay, nice and loud now for deaf
I said he
old
put
men.
the mic in my hand, so I guess I have to say something. Question. We'll make a question about the Leela. The earth plunged into the Garbhodaksh ocean, and he's mentioned how he's coming to save the earth planet. What about all the residents and the living entities that were on the planet? What happened to them? Did they drown?
Rasamai can answer that question.
Who can answer that question? Is anything ever mentioned about the living entities?
I missed the first part of this whole pastime, so...
Anyone ever do?
Well, the thing is...
I mean, of course, I guess...
These are eternal living entities, these jivas.
Yeah, but, when it comes out, there's no more living entities. They're all gone.
Some of them probably are going into a long, long sleep. They're not in the Bhagavatam class, they're just many years.
I mean,
okay, here, Rakesh.
At the end of the yugas, of course, it's inundated also.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So, I didn't have time to research all that.
I heard that this is at the beginning of creation, this pastime was happening. So, at the starting of creation, just when all the... Yes.
There's actually 2 yugas that are dealt with, 2 kalpas that are dealt with in this pastime. Don't ask me the details on that. I didn't quite get that. I was skimming that. Okay, so any other questions or comments? We will also accept, you can throw, I usually say you can throw rotten tomatoes at me, but you can also throw pieces of burfi at me. I'll take them. Anything else? But we're ending early. You got, okay. There you go. Shashikam Prabhu Ki Jai.
Thank you for the class.
Nice and...
Prabhu, you mentioned that ISKCON is meant for those who are non-envious. But also we hear that ISKCON is like hospital. ISKCON is like hospital. Hospital.
It's like a hospital. Yeah.
To treat people. So how do we understand these 2 things?
Yeah, I've got envy cancer, terminal stage, stage 4. But that's what Prabhupada wants. He wants a society that at least is on the Madhyama Vaishnava platform. He describes in the purport to the 6 loving exchanges, Dadati Pratigrinati Guyam Makyati Prichati Umte Bojayate Chaiva Sadvidhim Pratilakshanam, that he established ISKCON as a facility to facilitate the 6 loving exchanges between devotees. And then he goes on a few sentences later to say that he established that simply by engaging in these 6 loving exchanges, one can come to the platform of spiritual perfection. So, we make our greatest accelerating factor in spiritual advancement is the association of Vaishnavas, advanced devotees. This is what helps us to blast off and get out of Maya and never go back. I mean, like the experiences that I heard from so many devotees that met Srila Prabhupada for the first time, like Brigupati. He's still distributing books in LA after so many years. He took me out on book distribution when I was a new bhakta. And, my first day out, Niranjana Das Brahmachari, who now is Niranjana Swami, took me out. And the second day, Brigupati took me out. And the second day was Monday. After, I think we had Sunday off. Saturday was my first day, and I loved it. It was so great. Niranjana Swami still jokes with me about, how I was running all over the park and went, here's for you. And so my second day, which was Monday, after an enormous Sunday feast, and, we were trained as new bhaktas to fill up to there, completely max yourself out with as much prasadam as you can take. Eat your way back to Godhead. And so the next day, Brigupati was going to drop me off in a parking lot to start distributing. And I said, Prabhupada, I don't feel like going out. I'm really tired. You know, it was like kind of the post-huge Sunday feast dilemma. And so then Brigupati told me about a pastime between himself and Vishnu Janmashtami, who headed up the Radha Damodar bus party. Because Brigupati, one time he felt like that as a new member of the Radha Damodar bus party. And then Vishnu Janmashtami said to him, Brigupati, I think it was, might have even been before he took Diksha. And he said, you know what it was like when you were really fired up on Saturday. So even though you may not be fired up now, just act like you are fired up. Krishna will see your enthusiasm and he'll make you fired up. So I did it and it worked. It was kind of like a formula that I used for many years as a Sankirtan leader. Used it myself and imparted that understanding to devotees I was training in book distribution. So, how did we get off on that one? Huh?
Exchanges.
I can't hear.
Loving exchanges between devotees.
Oh, okay. So when you get the loving exchange, I got the loving exchange with Brigupati. And Brigupati told me also about the first time he met Prabhupada. They were going to Chicago, and he was going to take Diksha from Srila Prabhupada with I think about 18 other Radha Damodar busboys. And, you know, as Prabhupada came up in the car, and he got out of the car, Brigupati did full dandavats. And it was an amazing experience because he kept sinking lower and lower and lower into the sidewalk. You know, that was the experience. You know, Krishna was allowing him to understand that this is the greatest soul he'll ever meet. One devotee asked me this morning in the samadhi, he said, did you ever meet Srila Prabhupada? And I said, no. No, I was waiting. He was coming to New York. He was in London. And he was coming to New York for the Rath Yatra. Everyone was just super fired up, getting ready for him. Devotees were staying up all night long, redoing his quarters on the top floor of the 12-story building in Midtown Manhattan. And they'd still come to the Bhagavatam class. And you know what happened? They were so exhausted that they'd actually fall over asleep standing up. They were standing up and they'd fall over like that. So no one should miss a Bhagavatam class. This is actually a standard that Srila Prabhupada set. I mean, we got 7,500 devotees in the Mayapur community. Where the heck is everybody? Okay. All right, so, you know, the point is, it's, you know, Prabhupada, Bear Krishna Maharaj, some devotees probably heard me say this about 50 times. Bear Krishna Maharaj did research on all the letters that Srila Prabhupada sent to the GBCs over the years. And he found in practically every single letter, this is addressing an individual GBC, your primary responsibility is to make sure that every single devotee in all of your temples attends the full morning program. Tigache? Okay, so let's get out. Hey, Rasamai, can you loan me your lasso rope? Let's go and rope some more people in to come. We should all have lasso ropes to pull people to the Bhagavatam class. Do you know what a lasso is? Never, no? It's like in American culture, there's the cowboys, and they got lassos, and then they can lasso a bull, or they can lasso a human being and pull them in. Okay, so everyone should try to do that to help devotees, because it's important for their spiritual lives. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Okay, here's a sadhu. I'm probably going to faint in ecstasy after I hear this question.
Thank you for your wonderful class. In the purport, we see the demon Hiraṇyākṣa, he is blaspheming by so many words to Lord. And Lord wants this rasa, fighting spirit. And Hiraṇyākṣa...
Okay, wait. You got. I missed that last point. He spoke so many words to the Lord, and then?
Hiraṇyākṣa blaspheming by so many words to Lord.
I got that.
Because Lord wants this fighting spirit.
He wants to fight?
Spirit.
Fighting spirit, yeah, okay.
So this is nice. According to Lord's will, he is doing nice acting, nice. But our acharya, our respected acharya,
the previous acharyas, yeah.
They explain that he is glorifying to Lord.
Right.
So outsiders, who are non-devotee, they may think that it is like mental concoction of acharya. As we think that researcher, scientist, or non-devotee, atheistics, they concoction, mental concoction, so many things they explain opposite to Lord, and the outsider, non-devotee, they may think that the acharya, the respected acharya, they may concoction the word, and it goes to rasabhas. Lord wants to fighting, and in fighting, how they glorified Lord. Understand?
Kinda. Pretty good, Bengali English, and so what I'm. The thing is that we can phalena parichayate. Like what Prabhupada puts in his books, we've seen the result. There's an enormous Krishna conscious explosion worldwide. How did it happen if he didn't have direct empowerment from Krishna? So that's one point. Second point is that we live in a Guru Parampara. This is the way knowledge is transmitted. So Sridhar Swami in his first commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary make similar points. Srila Prabhupada knew that this was an essential instruction. I mean, Hiraṇyākṣa was Jai in the Vaikuntha planet, Vaikuntha world. And, when the cursing of the four Kumars took place, Krishna personally came and said, I just want my servants back as soon as possible. So please keep the cursing down to a little, limited. Originally it was going to be 7 lifetimes, but then it became 3. But now but then 4 with Mahaprabhu's pastime. Was that a reasonable response? Was it all right?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Regarding Prabhu's concern, first thing, when Jai Vijay fell down, they came here, and so they completely forgot that they were Jai Vijay. They never remembered. They were totally in the mood of demon.
Yeah, that was Yoga Maya covering them, so they could perform their pastime.
So they were blaspheming in this way. So when our acharyas, they give this alternate meaning, so it's not that it is their mental concoction, it's the Suddha Saraswati sits on their tongue, and then it reveals the meaning.
Okay, didn't get to the last part. Slow it down, good American English. Okay, Rakesh can do it.
He is saying that when these devotees, when they speak, even if it's blasphemy, Saraswati, Shuddha Saraswati is there on their tongue, and that becomes glorification, like glorification also. It is not their mental concoction.
Who's on their tongue? Saraswati?
Shuddha Saraswati is saying.
Shuddha Saraswati. Okay, explain this to this dumb guy after class, okay? Okay, I think we should adjourn now. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Varaha Deva Ki Jai.